My name is Maryann. I can barely talk. Most days I can't talk. And I'm reasonably well known in the ME advocacy and research community because of a website I did and numerous articles, or mostly review articles, that I did on myalgic encephalomyelitis. I selected a great many articles over the years and put them on a website, the Myalgic Encephalomyelitis Society of America, which I created in 2002 with the technical help of my friend Ray Colleton. I wrote everything on there, but Ray did the technical work. And I wanted to create something that patients could go to show their doctors that this disease has hundreds of articles backing I have aphasia, so I can't think. Articles which, describe why certain symptoms take place. And they describe circulatory impairment, including poorly deformable red blood cells that do not deliver oxygen to the tissues and the organs, causing one to be oxygen deprived in the brain, the heart, the skin, and other organs like the pituitary and even the thyroid. And so it might look like we have hypothyroidism, but really the thyroid hormone is not getting where it's supposed to go because of the circulatory impairment. Along with orthostatic intolerance caused by low blood volume, Dr. Bell and Streeton showed that severe ME patients have a blood volume of 50% of normal, meaning that it's like someone in a car accident. They've lost blood. You keep them on a flat stretcher when you take them to the hospital. Otherwise, they'll die of not getting any oxygen. And then there's a neurological component in some cases that was described by Peter Rowe and I forget the other guy. And it describes a neurological problem of orthostatic hypotension. And then there's mitochondrial disease and problems with the brain. SPECT scans that show poor circulation. MRIs that show brain dysfunction. And mitochondrial problems. So I can't really right now describe everything, but the main symptoms of ME are the main symptom of ME, the hallmark, and this is true of no other disease. Post-exertional symptom exacerbation. Post-exertional symptom exacerbation, to the point that you can exacerbate the symptoms and put yourself into a relapse by exertion, and sometimes you recover and sometimes you don't, so your baseline gets lower and lower and lower, and it gets so low in some people that they can't swallow. I myself have difficulty swallowing. It takes me 3 hours to get through a meal. One buffalo steak, 1/4 of an ounce, chopped up. I have to chew it so small so that I can swallow it because I have swallowing difficulty because my muscles are too weak. And it takes 2 hours to be able to swallow it. Swallow very small bites. And that's not because I'm lying down. Actually, I am lying down. My head is up against the headboard of the bed. But there's also then I might eat a bowl of rice, which also takes another hour. So that's 3 hours. 3 hours just to eat. Any more jolting or any more relapse would trigger me to be too ill and be on a feeding tube. I usually don't do personal stories. It's not my style. I've always refused and declined to do it. But I'm old now, and even though I'm still quite vain, I just decided to go ahead because it's time that people know that people with this disease are very sick. And I don't look sick because I've been up all night eating and drinking water, but my voice is about to go out. And it goes out sometimes for months, sometimes for years. And I just want to tell you what NIH did recently. This is how bad it is. First, go to my website, Google my name, and you'll find my website on MEpedia page. And look at all of the research articles on the circulatory problems I was talking about, on the low, poorly deformable red blood cells that don't deliver oxygen to the tissues and the organs, to the autonomic problems that cause people to faint if they stand up, and then the low blood volume, which is far worse than the orthostatic hypotension problem, because you don't have enough blood to tolerate any upright posture at all, and it could cause you to go into seizures and brain failure and heart failure and everything else. The NIH put a man named Dr. Nath as head of the research study that started about 8 years ago. I don't have all the facts because I'm not keeping up. I'm kind of really sick. But I've been following everything on Twitter and trying to repost. And they selected Dr. Nath, who complained about it. He didn't want to work on ME. Oh, poor thing. And he makes $300-something thousand a year, but he wanted to work on other diseases. So what he did is he went out and found himself an ME denier. And his name was Brian Wallet. He is a known ME denier. He is the Elaine Showalter of the male species, and he is a complete moron, as she is. And when he talks, I mean, there's a special place in hell for psychopathologizers, or whatever they're called. And so they put him as head of the study, and at the end of 8 years, after not selecting the correct patients because they didn't do the 2-day exercise test, which proves that we relapse with exertion and can't function after. We can't repeat what we did. Like today I'm talking and tomorrow I won't be able to speak. We can't repeat what we did one day the next day because we've relapsed. And so he puts an ME denier as the head of the study, selects the wrong patients, because none of them had ME, because they didn't do we don't know if they had it or not, because they didn't do the 2-day exercise test, which is about the only thing that can really prove it. There are other tests that you can do, a SPECT scan that shows low blood volume in the brain and the heart, and lots of other tests, a low SED rate of 3 or under, 2, other 0, and there are tests, nuclear tests. There are tests for low blood volume. There are tilt table tests, but they can't do that on severe patients. But these were not severe patients that they selected. And anyway, so they put an ME denier ahead of it and as head of the study, and all they could come up with was something in our brain caused us to have an effort preference not to exert ourselves. Effort preference. We knew they were going to psychopathologize the disease. It was just a matter of how they reframed it. First they did it by calling us, saying we had fatigue. I don't know about you guys, but I've never been tired in my life. I'm a type A personality, and I don't get tired. I mean, I don't even get sleepy. I have to take massive sleeping pills to get to sleep. I have to take hydroxyzine, Klonopin, Valium, melatonin. And this is just to get like 3 or 4 hours of sleep. So no, I'm not tired. I mean, I do relapse if I exert myself, but not with fatigue. It's with muscle weakness, neuropathy, pain, brain fog, aphasia, inability to speak, inability to whatever. So that's what they did. So Hillary Johnson wrote a very good article. Dr. Nath complained that we were complaining about his study because the poor thing worked so hard on it. As patients who are sick and are not being compensated at all have worked much harder on this disease. Hillary Johnson wrote a very good article. You can go to my Twitter page and find it. I forget the name of it. And Jeanette Burmeister wrote a 4-part article carefully detailing every flaw in that study. And unfortunately, there is a group of so-called advocates out there who are trashing these very meticulous and careful works by very sick people, doing it for free, and they have criticized these articles. And Dr. Nath felt hurt. You know, Dr. Nath, I'd like to be able to get up and go out to dinner. I'd like to have your salary. I'll work on ME patients, I don't mind. Just give me your salary and give me your help, and I'll take a trip to the Bahamas and go to Florida and lay on the beach, and then I'll come back and do a really good study. But no, I'm not able to do that. Now, I know I don't look sick because I haven't seen the sun in 30 years, and I don't have age spots or wrinkles, except for maybe a little frown lines here and a couple of lip lines that I've only gotten in the last year, which are very distressing to me because I'm extremely vain. Extremely vain. And in any case, let's not talk about my vanity. I mean, it's just bringing in something entertaining too, so you won't have to hear boring stuff all the time. But anyway, Jeanette and Hillary and other people, Eileen Holderman and other people have posted all over Twitter problems with the study. And if there are other people I'm missing, I'm sorry, I didn't read them. And unfortunately, Janet Defoe and possibly her husband, Ron Davis, actually had lunch with these people because they want to get funding, which is understandable. But they should have pointed out that I have aphasia. They should have pointed out. Come on, Maryann, what should they have pointed out? They should have pointed out all of the articles that have been written over the last 30 years proving, using good selection criteria, that this disease has is a multi-system, very serious, indeed horrible disease. Just go to my website, Google my name, go to the MePedia page, ME Society of America, click on that, and you'll find all of the articles. They're on the research-based subsets page, the home page, and the cardiac insufficiency hypothesis page, all those articles. And there are many articles that have been done since then. And I think it was the Clinton administration who funded 3 centers for study during this time, and that's when all of the good articles came out. But many of those researchers have died. I think David Bell is still alive. And all they would have had to do is point out, here are the articles, look at them, and use the right selection criteria. Instead, they chummed up with them. I don't know what they did. And said that I believe it was Janet Defoe who said, they don't matter. Don't tell the ME patients, don't worry about them. No ME researchers take NATH and Wallet seriously. Oh, really? Let me tell you who takes NATH and Wallet seriously. People in medical schools, doctors, physicians. I mean, I'm sure that that study that came out has not helped my case at all. I'm trying to get home care, to get teeth removed at home because I'm not well enough to be transported. And I know that when I asked my doctor to write a letter to help me get the Medicaid waiver, home care program, or whatever, he always cites government things, even though, he's read all these articles I've sent him. He says, well, it's going to be better if we cite something from the government. And I'm like, no, it's not. So he'll cite something from the CDC. I don't think he cited that. So yes, that article does matter. It doesn't matter how it affects ME researchers. It matters how it affects the public, the media, physicians, medical professors. That's how it impacts. We've got an ME denier putting out an article saying we have effort preference. Well, I see people posting all the time that they overestimate how much they can do. I mean, I'm overestimating it right now. I shouldn't be speaking. I'm going to wake up tomorrow and not be able to speak. Because I go for months and years sometimes without being able to speak at all. Not just because of my throat or vocal cords, but also my stomach, my heart, my diaphragm. I don't know what all the mechanism is involved in speaking, but all of it goes out in me. So I'm risking saying these things. And not because I care what you think about me, because I don't. I never have. I've never cared. I mean, I want you to think I'm pretty, but other than that. Okay. I don't care if you think I'm the biggest bitch on the planet. I don't care if you think, I don't care if you come after me online. I mean, none of that bothers me. It bothers some people. It doesn't bother me. It only bothers me if you say that I don't look beautiful. Okay, I'm just injecting a little humor into this to keep it entertaining, because I am an entertainer at heart, even though I've written a lot of, I've done a lot of intellectual things too, but the real me is an entertainer. That's why I was a good teacher in philosophy. Also because I was very good at bringing concepts down to earth and teaching them to the students. I'm going to post this on Twitter. I may post it to Facebook, I'm not sure, but... And I want everyone who has been involved in this study, and everyone who has covered up the study, covered up the fact that it's not a serious problem. They're doing studies like this in NIH and wasting money on this, when only back during the Clinton era, the NIH funded 3 centers for study, and one was Dr. Nadelson, who came up with a lot of cardiac problems in ME patients. And there was another one I can't remember, and there was a third one that was a psychopathologizer, but that was only one among 3. So she was outnumbered by the other 2. And so you can think that, I don't care what people think about me, so I'm going to say that, and this is a message to NIH, this is a message to Janet and Defoe, and as I said, I have aphasia, so, it's caused by my illness. I can't think. Ron Davis and the people who had lunch and dinner with these people, like sitting down with Hitler, Yeah, let's have lunch with people who are allowing the murder and starvation of people all over the country, all over multiple countries. It's worse in England than it is here, I will say. That you're probably safer going to a hospital in the United States than you are in England, because they have Simon Wesley over there, who got knighted along with child molester Jimmy Savile, and all those lovely knights, that abusers and murderers and all those people that the royals like to listen to the government on who should be knighted. With apologies to Paul McCartney. By the way, McCartney, you're not the greatest rock band that ever existed. It was The Cure. The Cure is the best rock band. Okay, so, but I know you got knighted, so whatever. It wasn't your fault. I wouldn't accept it. Robert Smith said he wouldn't accept it. Anyway, injecting a little narcissistic humor in here with talking about how I hope you think I'm pretty, but I don't care what you think of what I think of you. I don't care if you slam me for what I say. I don't care. It doesn't bother me if I'm slammed online in the way it does some people. So go ahead. Go ahead. You did a very bad job of that study, NIH. You've caused harm. I can't believe that even my case, with all the things I've written and all the things my doctor has read, what was done at NIH goes into the medical journals. They read it at medical schools, and that's what gets trickled down. Trickle down mediconomics. I mean, they had to psychopathologize the disease. They had to find another way. And as Jeanette said, they had to reframe it into something new, to look like they're doing something new, instead of saying we have fatigue. Okay, well, my voice is going out, not from fatigue, but because it's getting raw. And my diaphragm muscles hurt, and my stomach hurts, and it feels like I've been punched in the gut. So, I don't do personal stories, but I'm doing a little bit of one today. I need my teeth out, but I'm too ill to be transported to the hospital. And I'm probably going to get sepsis from them, or osteomyelitis, or whatever. And I need to go to the hospital for IV antibiotics for a left eye infection that I have pink eye bacterial conjunctivitis. Can't get to the hospital for that. No ophthalmologist will see me. No ophthalmologist will talk to me or email me back at LSU. I have emailed the head of the department. They will not email me back. I will say that my own physician does call in my prescriptions, everything I want, which is usually sleep medicine, because I'm not tired and I can't sleep, or antibiotics. Those are the two things I think I've had prescriptions for. Once I had a prescription for Valtrex for ocular shingles, which was also diagnosed by my friend, who was an ophthalmologist who also treated me at home. He died. So I've had 3 people who have been willing to, 4 if you count Dr. Miram, who pulled a tooth and then went around town spreading lies, saying that it was unsafe to do it, even though I praised everything that he did. This one was pulled in the back. It was split open, and I would have been dead if he hadn't pulled that tooth, and I'm probably going to be dead again because I can't get in. I can't be jolted in an ambulance. Okay, friends, well, I'm going to sign off, and this is probably not very coherent. I probably should have written it out in advance, but typing something on my smartphone touch screen causes neuropathy pain, and then speaking afterwards, that's just too much on me, so I'm going to go and hope that my voice doesn't go out. Thank you for listening. Bye.